Hi, my name's Caleb. I'm an outdoor educator, and today I'm out in the woods with 1Campfire. Here are my top 5 tips for foraging mushrooms. Tip number 1 is to use a really good knife. If you're just starting out, anything stainless steel works great. It's going to hold up to the wet and the dirt a little bit better. If you're foraging with kids, a butter knife from home works great. For me, I like to use this open L knife. It's got a curved blade on one side, and it's also got a brush on the other, just to get rid of any dirt before the mushrooms go in the basket. So tip 2 is how to cut the mushroom. For these chanterelles, it's really important that we cut it near the base of the stem and not pull it out of the ground. The chanterelle we see is actually just the fruiting body of the bigger mycelium that grows under the soil. So by cutting right against the base of the stem, this will grow back again this season or even next year. So tip number 3 is something to hold the mushrooms. For chanterelles, half the time I find them it's by accident, so I end up using my hat. But really, there's a lot nicer things like this mesh basket. It's really breathable, it's really easy to clean, and the spores can fall out the bottom. Tip number 4 is how to properly identify mushrooms. So all these mushrooms we picked today have toxic lookalikes or lookalikes that cause a bad reaction, and those lookalikes vary by region. So I'm not going to tell you exactly how to identify these mushrooms, but I am going to show you some of the resources I use. One of those resources is an app on the phone. You can take a picture, and through the app it's going to pop up with the identification of that mushroom. Something I use is this pamphlet. It's really easy to carry. It has some great diagrams and full color pictures, all that the rain promises and more. This is a great hip pocket guide for the Pacific Northwest. And then if you want to get into the details about the mushrooms, our provincial museum has actually published this book, which is really great to go in depth. Tip number 5 is how to preserve mushrooms. While they're really great to eat the day of, there's ways we can preserve them for later on in the year. The best way to do that in the field is in a mesh basket like this that's really breathable. Once you get home, you're going to want to transfer your chanterelles into a paper bag like this. Chanterelles in a paper bag like this will last a week to 10 days in the fridge. When it comes to preserving chanterelles for the long term, drying them is the most popular method. Here I have some dried chanterelles in this mason jar. Once they're dry, you can add them to soups and stocks just like this, but a more popular thing is to powder them, and from there you can use them as a thickener. You can add them to salt to make a rub for meat. When I first started foraging for mushrooms, I was really intimidated by it all, and to be honest, I was a little bit scared. But by going out with people who are experts, by reading lots of material, and by just learning one mushroom species each year, I've been able to become much more confident, and hopefully you can too.